Good day. This is Steve Fithian from Grand Banks Yachts. Today we're aboard a 2007 Grand Banks 59 Aleutian RP called Monkey Business. Welcome aboard. Okay, headed into the Salon on Grand Banks 59 2007 Monkey Business now. So just starting here, we have a nice large wide door. This is plenty big enough for easy access. Each one of the doors is going to have a screen, so you can close it with that. And then the other opening windows around the boat also have screens. So if you want to open up, you can. So coming into the Salon on the starboard side, you have two nice comfortable barrel chairs. These have been recently reupholstered. Here in the center between the two is going to be the TV on a pop-up lift, which you'll see in some of the photos. Underneath there's room for any AV stuff and other storage and the remotes and such. On the on the outboard side here, there's a big locker behind that chair. Also on the forward side, same thing. Up in front here, either art or books go well. Separate AC units for the salon and the pilot house, so the one controller is right there. Now if we look down the port side, beautiful L settee, very comfortable, recently reupholstered too. The colors are fantastic in here. One of those opening windows is just above right here, and it slides and it has the screen. Also on the opposite side, I did point that out. So here, this can also convert into a double berth or a lounging area. If you've ever been on board, on a rainy day and you don't want to be in the stateroom, you can pull that out, set it up, come up here and watch a movie. It's not hard to do. Or if you have that occasional guest that exceeds your limit downstairs, you can use that. Otherwise, good storage underneath here. The bar is here with ice maker below. And again, storage here. So just a couple of steps up here to the pilot house. We don't feel like we're totally closed off. We still have a nice open feeling, but it's separated slightly. So stepping up here, I think, we did a great job in how this galley fits in here and what it accomplishes in this Grand Banks 59. So we have sub-zero refrigeration and freezers. We have two refriges on this aft section. Around the other side, which we'll walk to in a second, we have another fridge and freezer. So there's 3 fridges and a freezer up here. There's in the countertop here, there's a nice deep storage locker that, has an abundant space for storage. 4-burner cooktop on top, convection microwave above, and then storage below here. Trash compactor and dishwasher, both operational. And then of course the granite countertop, tops, big sink. There's a overhead cabinet facing aft here. And there's also one facing forward that this owner added to the boat. Really just adds, a great amount of additional storage. Now also a factory option was to have this same cabinet on the starboard side. Not many Aleutian Grand Banks have that. It's a great feature. I used to do it on all my stock boats back then. So I know I've had it on 2 or 3, but that just adds more storage. Works really well. Now of course opposite the galley, beautiful El settee again, separate table, and it folds away, so if you're sitting there having cocktails or not using for dining, it's not really in your way. Otherwise, just another separate area. Of course, every area you can have like this in the boat just is fantastic. So this is a good one. You see out easily, so if the boat's being run down here, another good spot to sit. So looking forward, so we have 2 stid seats here. Not all of them had 2, but I tell you, the boat is such a good running boat. From down below, there's no big bow rise. There's big windows. We're set way far forward, so there's no issue driving the boat down here. It's actually very simple and pleasurable. So you've got 2 wing doors here as well. So obviously the docking and handling down here with all these beautiful windows is just really easy. So looking forward, we've got a chart locker on top. The electrical panel is here, so both 220 and 12 volt are here. A storage locker that's outboard. And then looking at the helm itself, 2 large Garmin screens, the autopilot from Garmin, and then all the other kind of normal features for like we have Caterpillar C18 1000 horsepower here, the optional engine which everyone seeks after. So we have their best gauge here that offers up every bit of information you could want. We have 2 generators. We have the standard 21, and then we also have a 13.5 backup to share with. We have bow and stern thrusters, so you have both. We also have a handheld remote by yacht controller, which just makes docking just painless, and it's like having another crew member on board. But it really works well, and the thrusters and the gears are both into that. So just to the starboard side here of the helm, we've got some storage in this locker right here, just kind of before you go downstairs to go below. So here's one of the side doors, nice sliding screen here. Both of these have that, so then all three do. And then you have two more windows up in here. So you've got the two windows here, two below, the two doors. Provides a lot of ventilation if you don't want to have your air conditioning on and the weather permits. All right, we headed below decks on our Grand Banks 59 monkey business. And we have an aft midship master here. Beautiful walk around berth. To the left of the bed, or on the starboard side, we have a nice desk vanity arrangement here with bookshelves on top, hanging lockers on the outboard side, other storage up high here, and then all along underneath the berth. And there's some additional dead storage right in the center. It's really, really good. Now, if we go down the port side, we have a nice tall hanging locker there, a shorter one next to it, a number of drawers and lockers there, and then again, more drawers underneath the berth. Just a beautiful setup. So with her en-suite head and shower, stall shower on this starboard side, going forward, stall showers here, plenty of room inside there for my height, and something that any owner would be happy with. Just a beautiful stateroom. And each space in the boat down here will have opening ports. So you've got two in the stateroom itself, aft here, and then you've got the you've got this opening port in the head here. So coming forward, you have two single berths here. They're long, wide enough for a good size adult. Big storage in the center here with a hanging locker and some cabinets below, drawers below the berth again. Great headroom throughout here. There's no headbanger or anything, and just a beautiful guest bedroom. So coming forward up here, we're going to go up to towards the VIP. On the way, we're going to stop at the guest head. So this guest head, this one's a wet head, but it's quite large. It also doubles as the washer dryer location. So in here, there's a pair of ASCO washer dryer, individual units, what everybody wants, and in an easy to access place for any stateroom on board. Just a really nice setup there. So then we go forward a little farther up to the VIP. Now again, center line, queen berth. Very easy to step up the one step on the side to get in. No headbanger in the front. Good headroom, and just the room feels very spacious. We've got some nice new blinds here on the side, and the curtains are gone. Two more opening ports here, for cross ventilation. Very, very nice setup. This VIP has its own head with separate stall shower as well. So there are three heads in the boat. This one's, got as much space, near as much space as the master one did. So now out onto the aft deck on Monkey Business, the 2007 Grand Banks 59. So nice covered aft deck back here, and it's covered with the Flybridge superstructure, so it doesn't get any better than that. Nice overhead lighting here and some other courtesy lights, so really, really good for, for entertaining, for nighttime, and just relaxing on the boat. And again, you have a whole other area, and this is a nice one. So obviously plenty of room on this side to be able to take other chairs down the side and be able to make it, comfortable for more people. This two table design that we have here is something I thought of many years ago when we were building these boats. So it allows you, when you're not dining, it allows you just to walk between the two, not have to get anybody in the way, and make use of all the seating very easily. But they also go together and make a very large table for dining. So you've got a versatile table situation that works great. So over to the starboard side here, you look at all of the hawse holes and cleats on this Grand Banks 59, and I mean, it's amazing. Every time I, get on a different one, they always make me feel differently than being on other manufacturers' boats. Just awesome setup for docking. So if we step down through the boarding gate, which you have two on both sides to the swim platform, it's a large integrated platform. It's integrated into the hull, so it's not flimsy in any way. There's a nice swim ladder in the dead center. Great spot to bring the dinghy up against. You've got stable rails all across the back, so when you're at a dock trying to step off or trying to step on the dinghy, there's something to hold on to wherever you go. Super nice. Now also, back into this cockpit for a second. Underneath this aft seating here, there's a massive cavern of storage underneath these cushions. Great for what we're doing in the back deck. On top of that, the access into the lazarette is also straight between the two here. So when the tables are split, it's super easy access to be able to get in there. There's a nice ladder that goes down, easy to place stuff down there. Also would back up as the second way to get into the engine room, and that's a great way to do that. So otherwise, we look at the beautiful teak decking out here. There's no raised caulking. It's in beautiful shape. The wing door that you see on this port side over here now, there's one on port and starboard. They were both added to the boat here last year. Very nice. You know, a lot of times I see these as just more of a piece of plexiglass. This is a custom-made one that really does an awesome job. So let's walk forward. So heading down the port deck. Engine room access on the side deck here. So this is how you're going to get on most of the time, so you don't have to get in the way with the lazarette opening there. Super nice area down there. I know you'll see this in the video, but when you're down there, you'll see the beautiful 2 C-18s, the 2 gins, 2 fuel tanks in the forward engine room, and just a very clean, well taken care of engine room. The main engines and generators have been recently serviced. I think everything is up to date. Really, really looks nice. And it's an easy place to work in with full headroom. So stepping forward here, you have you have a boarding gate here and a boarding door that swings open. You have that on both port and starboard side. The rails are always in the right spot, like anybody from Grand Banks would tell you. And I know a lot of people have been writing back on these videos telling me I should turn around. So we'll turn around a couple times on the way up here. So you step up these 2 steps, right? So cap rail here. I'm really enclosed in this, Portuguese bridge that starts about here, and it's going to grab me the whole way up. A couple of spots for hanging your fenders. You see the port pilot house door we were looking at inside, and then as you're going forward again, now it's nice and high, in the typical Grand Banks standard for pilot house. Big storage underneath here in the 3 lockers that are there. Those are on both sides. And then again, another whole area, right? So many times I've seen a whole other set of furniture up here that, they can lay down and it's heavy, oftentimes teak, right? And then you've got the built-in seating here, or this can make a nice place to lay out in the sun. Super nice anchor platform up here. It's set up with the 1 now, but obviously it does 2. It's nice and wide, no compromise on anything, easy to get to. Anybody can do this. These 2 lockers are enormous in size, fenders, lines, freshwater washdown, and anything else you might want to have on board is there. There's also some storage underneath these seats up against the pilot house. All right, up to the Flybridge on Monkey Business today. So we're looking aft. We've got our nice Airtex crane here. Very good shape, working fine. We have our Zodiac center console tender here. She had some new tunes last year. Everything's running great. The engine's recent, the 40 horsepower Yamaha. She operates great. You can also see some of the decking up here, as I mentioned, has just been painted. So if I turn around, I've got a newer grill. I have a refrigerator below. I have a sink here. So just a little wet bar set up here for that. Now looking forward, we have seating on the starboard side, seating on the port side. There's an ice maker on that port side too, so you have one in the lower deck and the upper deck, so entertaining is great. You have a couple of our teak tables up here. Now normally you see these as the graded teak table from Grand Banks, which were here. This owner upgraded these to a solid piece of teak for each one a few years ago, and this one is much easier to care for and varnish and stuff, so I really appreciate that upgrade. Everywhere where there's a settee up here has big storage lockers underneath in that old style Grand Banks way. These cushions up here are also new on both sides, so everything looks super fresh. Same thing as we go forward. The skid seats are also have new cushions, so everything up here is super fresh and clean. Up forward here, we have a newer enclosure. I think it's from 2022. They open, like I have this one open to port. You've got an opening on starboard, and of course the big one in the front. So you can get ventilation when you want, but if you're out, whether it's rough seas or whether you're in the north and you're trying to extend your season, you can use that. So 2 more Garmins up here. Again, our cat gauges for our C-18 1,000 horsepower cats, Fusion stereo, the Naiad stabilization system, which is a controller here and a controller down below. So that's what we're using to keep us stable in any kind of a sea. It starts working, at about 6 knots onward. Does a great job to keep the boat really extra solid offshore. So we have our trim tabs, back up other engine start stops, VHF, and our controls up here, and again the bow and stern thruster. There's small chart lockers on both sides here that are meant to be somewhat watertight. We've got a Perplex windshield up here that does a good job of keeping spray off if you have the window open. Great view from up here. When I look back at it, the seating just blends in beautifully. The dinghy's in a nice spot. If the dinghy's off, you could always put some more furniture in the back. The crane operation is quite easy to launch the dinghy. It takes about 15 minutes. Beautiful boat, beautiful setup. Okay, so all of the non-skid in the boat's recently been painted. Something you do, every so often just to give it a fresh coat. It was originally painted from the factory, and it just, takes a refresh every now and then. So headed back down the starboard side. We only have teak on these decks starting from right here where, the covered side deck is and back. And from, the vintage of this boat, there's not, a lot of this is epoxy bonded teak. There's not really, there's not many fasteners or anything here. And this has been very well taken care of. This boat has only had 2 owners. Originally, she was a stock boat of mine when I was a Grand Banks dealer. She sold to a gentleman from Annapolis, Maryland, and she's been with this current owner, the rest of the time. Very well cared for by both owners. This is a great opportunity to, to have one of the most perfect Grand Banks 59s on the market. This is one of the nicest ones I've seen in many years. Please give me a call directly. Remember, I work for the Grand Banks factory. Steve Fithian at Grand Banks Yachts, 954-383-1999. Thanks very much and have a great day.